Hey, it's Joe. I'm here to show you another type of investment that might make sense for you. Again, this whole series is about analyzing deals. So if you have cash to invest, here's an investment that might make sense for you. And I'm not saying that this investment is available right now, but these are the types of investments that I'm selling that I think make sense to folks, and I think might make sense for you. And you can buy one, or you can buy three, or you can buy a dozen of them from me. I can do either any of those things for you. But the goal here is not to sell this specific property because it's probably going to be sold by the time you see this video, but to understand what you can get and why it makes sense. So let me show you some pictures, let me show you some numbers, and let's take you to a screen capture video.
This is a picture of a property that I bought through an estate sale. It was in pretty good shape when I bought it. Didn't have to spend a whole lot of money on it, but I had about $29,900 into it with all my carrying costs, with the purchase price, with the closing costs, everything that I had into it. Then I added $10,000 onto it, and I sold it to an investor. Now let me show how, and this is the same kind of property that I would sell to you as well, so if you were interested. And I think it makes a lot of sense as an investment. Certainly it made a lot more sense for me because I found it and I put it together and I got a tenant in there and I had the resources and the management to find this. The process of finding this, it takes some skill and knowledge. Everybody can learn it, but I happen to have it already. And the guy that wanted to buy it from me didn't want to put the time in and still wanted to get a good return on his money. I would have had a higher return than him if I would have kept the property. And by the way, I would have kept the property if I didn't find a buyer, and I would have been happy with the return because this is a property that was bought with money out of my Roth IRA. So I'm going to be able to keep these properties long term or take a profit on them and turn around and buy more properties and do it again. So anyway, this property we sold to the investor for $39,900. It had comps on it in the area for 65 to 75, so it was a good deal for him. It was certainly an even better deal for me when I bought it. It has, we have a tenant in it. When he bought it, we had a tenant in place, and that person was paying $800 a month, which comes out to $9,600 gross annual income per year. The taxes on it were currently $584 annually. The insurance was about $594 annually, and the property management was 10% of the income, which was $9,600 per month. So the annual profit on this was $74.62. Now, if you divide $74.62 by the purchase price of $39,900, you get 18.7% return annually on your property. There's very few places you can go and get this kind of return. Now keep in mind that doesn't include future repairs. Maybe a furnace goes out and you got to replace that. Maybe you have to put a new roof on it, although you can see from this picture the roof is in great condition on this, and it's got aluminum siding, so it's going to be in good shape for quite a few years. It had good windows on the property. It's just a good property. I'll show you some more pictures of it in a second. But this type of deal makes a lot of sense. Now, this investor had to come up with cash to do it. He came up with money that he pulled out of his home equity line. His home equity line was costing him about 5% a year, so he's going to make about 13% on this. Now, keep in mind as well, since you're going to have repairs in the future, you're going to have vacancies in the future, I would figure 1 to 4% of this cash-on-cash return being to go towards that. So in fact, he's going to have anywhere from probably around 14% to 18.7% as his real return on investment on this property. Now that doesn't include if he sells the property. And this isn't a property that you turn around and sell right now. You're not going to turn around and sell this for $65,000 or $75,000 in all likelihood. These comps were, before the market took a hit, and the market took a hit, or at least the comps took a hit because of all the foreclosures in the neighborhood, and all these neighborhoods took this hit. Now, this is a good, solid, blue-collar neighborhood. It's not a war zone. It's actually just 2 blocks away from $200,000 houses just north of it, which would be just to the left of it on this picture. So this is a good property, a good return, and this fellow bought 4 different properties at the same time when he closed them. So he's going to get a really nice, solid return on his investment. That's going to be his risk is going to be spread out. The beauty here is that he buys it very, very cheap. This property, if you bought it for $75,000, $85,000, $95,000 and got an $800 a month per month return, which is what we used to see. It's now possible to buy them so much cheaper because of what happened in the market. So we're in a very short period of time right now, may last a year, may last 2 or 3 years, where we're still able to find these properties and still be able to get these kind of deals. Now, another thing I might warn you about is don't go and buy a property, because you may find $10,000, $15,000 on the MLS or in the newspaper or whatever that's for sale, but it's not going to be habitable. And if you're going to rehab the property and you spend, $20,000 to rehab it, and you spend, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to buy it, it's not going to be a very good deal for you. And there's always the risk, if you don't know who the people are that are doing the rehab, if you don't know the property manager, whether or not they're going to fix it up, all those things, take that into account when you look at the comps and you say, oh no, I can get a property like this for $15,000. If you start looking around at these properties, if you go to these locations, if you look at them, you'll find out that that's not necessarily possible. Even we paid more than that for it. So keep that in mind as you go. Let me just show you, before I go back, some of the other pictures on the interior. And these pictures were taken, these pictures above were taken before we did the work, although actually this one is after the work because it's got the new flooring in it. And this is I think some kind of pergo or laminate flooring. That's not real wood down there. And that's actually cheaper. Well, it's not cheaper. It's about the same price as carpet. And we've been having so many problems with our tenants screwing up our carpet that we thought, let's put this stuff in, see if it lasts longer. And so far we've had some pretty good luck with it. And it looks great, and they love it, and it helps it get it rented faster. We believe that if you have a property that looks nice and we take care of it, we're going to get a better class of tenants. We don't like to be slumlords, because that's the type of tenant that you get. So have a good property. Have something that you wouldn't mind living in yourself. You wouldn't mind having your kids in the neighborhood. That's kind of the way we're looking at these in order to make them work. So these are good deals.
Okay, so that's the deal. Those are the types of things that we've got. If you're interested, there's another video that you might want to watch. It's at getmoreclients.com, high cash flow houses. Just go to this web address and you can watch a video, and you can buy properties from us that we've got in our inventory already, or we can actually find you properties, which is what we do with this system as well, that might make sense.